Shabbat Shalom. This morning we are looking at this special ending of the book of Bamidbar with two parashot, Matot and Masei. At the ending, when we read this parashot, we say, Chasat, chasat, beni chaset. Be strong, be strong, be strengthened. It's because every time that we finish a book, we become wiser and become stronger in a relationship with our Creator. The Borei Olam is giving the Torah for all of us to learn about life, and He gives us principles. And these beautiful principles are given to us through historical situations and through pictures that we see in the whole Torah. In this fourth book, Bamidbar, we see a transition from the Yetziah from Mizraim, the Yetziah, that means the exit from Egypt, to at the ending and to the entrance to the Promised Land, to Eretz Israel. In order to do this, our Creator took for us 40 years in that period, for 2 generations, and these 2 generations were passing through in order to learn about what life is all. But I want to make a point. The first generation was a generation that was totally involved, totally taken out of pagan culture from Egypt. They had already been modified in their way of thinking by the living so long with the Egyptian civilization. It was difficult for them to separate the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob from the gods of Egypt. Totally the contrary. Sometimes many of them, they were so involved or so imbued in the life in Egypt that they started even thinking that the gods of Egypt were greater than the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the Borei Olam. This is the reason why Moshe Rabbeinu, being chosen as the leader for Israel, he needed to come back from exile and bring the people out. And in that period of time, getting them out, he also needed to show not only to them, but to the people of Egypt, who really was the true and only God. In this time, we are now in Bamidbar. We start at the second year of the Yetziah, at the second year of the exit of Israel from Egypt. And they are going to start finishing the Ohel Moed. They are finishing the Tent of Meetings. They are inaugurating the Kehunat, or the priesthood, and they are in the process of starting again the journey to go to the Promised Land. In this book, we see 2 sections. The first section is about the first 2 years, and then suddenly we jump to the last 40 years in the desert. And also we are going to see something very interesting. We see the jumping of 2 generations. The first generation of the Yetziah, the exit of Egypt, as all of them are going to disappear. And the new generation is going to be the new people, those ones that literally didn't serve under slavery, and they were totally free of the problem of thinking that they were dependent on somebody else but in the Borei Olam. But one thing I would like to mention that I mentioned before is that the fears of the fathers were passed through the children. And the children suffered the fears that the parents had been communicating to them. And they continue with that behavior. And even the Moshe Rabbeinu, trying to lead them with all his desire and with his own goodwill, we see that Moshe Rabbeinu is getting old and he's getting tired and he's losing the patient. We already have seen all of that before. Nowadays, at the end of this book, something that I want to bring it to your attention is the most important thing that happens in these two things. First of all, he's going to bring us the idea about what happens when you make a vow, when you say something, a promise. And for the Creator, a promise is very important. Whatever comes out of your mouth is the word, and this word needs to be kept. That is to give us another principle that constantly our eternal God, blessed be His name, is still teaching us over and over and over again how important is His word, and we are under His Torah. His Torah is His revelation of His will to us and how we need to live, and that's His own words to us. And the same way that His words are important, also He's teaching us that our words also need to be important. And when we make a promise, when we make a vow, we need to think in this way. We need to keep it. You know, it's interesting that our Messiah Yeshua, our great rabbi and teacher Yeshua, told us that it would be better not to make promises, but our yes needed to be yes and our no needed to be no. And this is the most important thing, because later on, our sages develop this idea about the kol nidre, or the annulling of the vows. That is nothing in the Torah, in which we can annul the vows after it's given. Only we have the instances of the women who are under the parental or their husband care, and in the moment that they hear that, and if they annul, are annulled. But if they are not annulled by their parents or their husbands, they need to keep their word. We learn through the times that whatever we say holds a lot of force. And indirectly, we can say our words has power. Sometimes we do not realize how much a word can do. You know, when we talk very easily to another person, and we say certain things with our mouth, and we promise things to other people, and we make people believe something that there is not, we are responsible for what we do, and sometimes we do not realize. And later on, we are going to learn that we suffer the consequences. One of the things about these teachings is that the principles of the Torah are to give us a better life, to live a life in abundance. But if we do not follow this principle, we suffer the consequences. You have heard me in prior messages about the morality and the integrity that the Creator gave us when He blew in us His Ruach, His Spirit. And all of us, we have been made to the likeness and image of Him. All of us. There is no one human being that doesn't have the presence of the Creator. Then the question is, what happened to those people that go so far and they do so much evil in this earth? And here is what I have been trying to share with you about from morality and integrity, we pass very soon to immorality. And immorality means disobedience, because we have been given the Vehirach of Shid, the free will. And the free will includes and makes us responsible for what we do. No any longer we are going to depend from the Creator in everything, but we are going to make our own decisions. You know, at this time, there is something that I like it when for example, our great rabbi, Moshe Maimonides, you know, when he was a very rationalistic rabbi, and he started teaching about these areas, about vows and principles. And he will say that the Creator is a creator of of the natural things. His creator is not based only on miracles, but he works through us, through people. And many of us, we are looking for miracles all the time, when we need to understand that the miracles is not the way that the Creator works. The Creator works through us because He gave us this world for us to take care of it. To be fruitful, to multiply, and to supervise the creation that He has given to us. Then, what Maimonides teaches is that we don't need to depend on miracles. We need to depend on each other. We need to depend on doing right because the Creator in us is working through us. This is more rational and more natural. It is very sad when people only depend on wishful thinking instead to act upon the thing that they are doing. This is the reason that the Word of God is so important, and that's the reason that our promises are so important. Because if we promise something and we say that we're going to do something, it's better that we do it. Because other people are expecting or waiting for our actions. The actions of us are going to produce good things to others. And no action of us is going to produce also bad things. We see today in the world many injustices. And part of the injustice is because the great majority that supposedly are the righteous people or the people who supposedly know what is right and wrong, they keep quiet and they don't say anything. We need to start learning that we are responsible for all of us. Yes, as the King, as the Creator, am I, my brother's keeper? The answer of the Creator was, yes, you are your brother's keeper. Because we are a society, we're a group of people that we depend from each other. That's what Israel was going to be an example to the rest of the nations, how to live in community, how to depend from each other, and how to look to all of us as part of this beautiful people chosen by the Creator. But what is happening? Here in Bamidbar, at the end, we are going to see that even the second generation is falling apart. And because they have been contaminated by their own parents. And they need to be responsible now for themselves, and they cannot depend on the generation of their parents. And they're going to suffer the consequences of their mistakes for themselves. No, they cannot blame their parents for what they did. In Matot, the tribes means that this community and that everybody is responsible for everyone. And the second portion of the second parashah, the ending of the book of Matot Masei, the journeys, is going to tell us about the history of how the people of Israel, once living in Egypt, they were from one point to another point to another point, from one station to another station, and how they were going around and around and around. Looked like that sometimes we were going without direction. They were following the Creator. But why the Creator makes them go so far and going look like that sometimes to nowhere? Because in that period of time, the Creator was training the new generation. All of us, we need to be trained. No one of us is born knowing. We go to the process of learning. When we are children, we're babies, we are taken care by our parents, especially our mothers. Then little by little, we become toddlers, we become 6 years old, we become adolescents and adults. In that period of time, we have learned many things from our home, from our parents. We have learned what is right and we have learned what is not right. What happens when you do not have parents? What happens when you don't have a good a basis of a good society and who can teach you about what is right and what is wrong. You little by little, you are going to deviate, and you are going to have no way of comparing yourself with others, and you are going to be a little bit wild, and almost you're going to be like an animal. But at least animals, they do not do damage to others unless they are threatening. We human beings, we have the capability to do damage without even feeling that we are threatening. We can be so evil that we can do wrongs to people even because only we like it, we enjoy. This is the problem about having a journey without the Creator and going through this life without something superior to you that can give it to you principles that are very important. Here we can see that the Creator gave us the Torah in Har Sinai. And these 10 commandments or 10 words were the basic of the constitution for the people of Israel. And if they only could see these 10 principles and keep in their hearts, they were going to be good members of the society of Israel. But what is happening constantly? We're going to see that there are outside forces, outside things that make us go against what is right. And we trying to avoid what is right, and we start doing what is wrong. Do you remember? Morality, integrity, immorality means to do what is wrong even that you know that you are doing wrong. And then you go to the extreme, to the moment that you have lost all accountability, and it is the immorality. Immorality means that now you don't have the capability to discern what is right and what is wrong. You know, the best example that we have in the Torah at this moment, we have the case of Pharaoh. Little by little, he was challenged by the Creator. And the Creator constantly, through Moshe Rabbeinu, was telling him what was right and what is wrong. And he insisted in what is wrong. And suddenly got a moment that sounds like it's the Creator who hardened his heart. But what it really means is the Creator has allowed now Pharaoh to go to immorality, to a point of no return. You know, in physics, we have this idea about elasticity, plasticity, and rupture. In materials, when you study, you're going to see that every material goes in this chain of process. When you are in the process of elasticity, you can extend yourself, but you are going to go back to the same position that you were before. This is, by the way, this is when you can compare with immorality. Immorality, you can go to an extreme, but you realize that you're wrong and you go back to be right. You become moral again. But then you go to the process from elasticity, you go to the process of plasticity. Plasticity is when you continue elongating, but now you cannot come back any longer to your regular state. You are deformed now. And finally, the last point comes what we call it, if you keep extending the plasticity, comes the rupture, the breaking. And that's what immorality does, break and destroy. Israel was not able to get into the promised land in this book, only was at the skirts of the promised land, and ended this book in that way. What the Creator is trying to teach us with this idea? That it's not what we accomplish at the end. What is more important is what we do through our life to try to accomplish something. You know, many of us, the only thing is want to see the final product. But really the most important thing It's not to see the final product. The most important thing is what do we do through our life, through the times. Our children, or the next generation they are going to come, is the one that we are going to give it to them. This special message and this special principle. It is my prayer at this time in which all of us, we can together and understand what the Creator was trying to do through Moshe Rabbeinu and through the leaders, to teach us the principles of the Torah. And these principles to convey ideas of the good behavior, the good way to live, principles of life. And there were consequences for disobedience. There were consequences for going in the wrong way. It is my prayer, again, that all of us, fathers and children, we learn that we have a responsibility to each other, and we have a responsibility to convey to the next generation what is right and to show them what is wrong. Right now, we are living in a society that we are going to self-destruction, because more and more we are enjoying to see what is wrong, making it right. And what used to be right, we are making it wrong. And today, the people who have the right ways, they have the moral ways, the rightful way, they are being muzzled. They have been stopped to talk, and we cannot any longer exercise our freedom and our goodwill, because we are forced to accept the evil ways of the very bad behaviors in the world. And we cannot accept that. We cannot accept that the wrong things are right. And this is the reason that we need to talk, and we need to be clear that we are not accepting what is imposing on us. We need to make it right before the Creator. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Shabbat Shalom.